If your vehicle isn't stopping like it used to, stop by one of your 82 Detroit area O'Reilly Auto Parts stores and take advantage of the Do It Right rebate. You'll get a $20 O'Reilly gift card by mail when you buy a set of Brake Best Select pads and a pair of rotors. O'Reilly Auto Parts. Better parts, better prices every day. Limits apply. See store for details.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
Blog Talk Radio.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are back on Katara's Cafe, and keeping with this month's theme, it's National Women's Month, so this whole month, like I said before, I'll be interviewing women and entrepreneurs and authors. All right, before we get to our special guest that me and Lori talk to on a regular basis, I'm introducing my co-host, which I just did. Lori, how are you doing?
Good. How are you today?
I am doing well. We kind of missed an hour. We kind of got lost an hour today to do thanks to daylight savings time, but it's okay. It's okay. We can hopefully it doesn't affect all of us as much as we suspect it will. Just like I guess we all lost sleep. So that's where we're at. Oh, go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, that's the one thing. You do lose the sleep, but I do love being able to have an extra hour of sunshine towards the end of the day because it seems like I'm always running out around that time, and now I don't have to worry about being dark outside.
Oh, okay. Well, there you go. That's the good thing about of daylight saving time, that we more sunshine, so to speak. All right. Well, I have a special guest that me and Lori will be having tea with. She is one of the creators, or I'd like to say the Four Horsewomen of the Colors of Darkness group on Facebook. Like I've said before, me and Lori, we talk with this lovely author probably, I would like to say at least once a week, but we do talk like every month. She is a writer, author, publisher, mentor, and during the day, and she's not at night, that's what she does at night, but during the day she's an e-learner developer, superwoman. Kenya, how are you doing?
Hi, I am fine. You make me sound so great. I'm like, oh, who is that?
Well, it's not hard.
Oh,
Me?
tell the truth. That sounds great. I need you to follow me around and introduce me to everybody wherever I go.
Well,
we'll have to work on that.
Right. Well, and you are great, and it's great that you're able to do all of these wonderful titles and keep up with that. We especially Women's Month, we like to celebrate that because we do wear many hats mm-hmm. Besides, mother and all that other stuff. We take on a lot. So it's great that you're able to do all of that. So before we get into my questions and everything, I know that you're an e-learner developer. I think that's your title during the day. Do you ever give us a clue about what that is? That seems interesting.
Yeah, it's also known as an instructional designer. What I do in certain industries, when you go through training for skills or systems training, you sit in front of a computer and you take the course, and then you're scored and you take a test at the end. Well, someone designs those. You probably don't really think about where they come from. I'm the person that designs those. So how it comes about is whoever has decided that this particular skill needs to be trained or this new system needs to be taught, well, I have to kind of design the system and the way it's going to teach you. So I put together the slides and the screens and try to make it interactive, make it fun. I create the test and, design it from beginning to end. So I'm one of the people that put that type of thing together. And they have it in all kinds of industries. A friend of mine went to work at a retail store, and she told me that she had to sit in front of a computer. And she never understood what I did all these years when I tell her. She never got it, but she had to sit in front of a computer and take the course to learn about her job as a cashier. And she's like, now I get it. Well, she hated the course, which was Like, I'm sorry, I want to make it fun when they give me that, that leeway to make it a little more interesting. But that's what an instructional developer does.
Oh, okay, cool. Well, that seems interesting, and definitely it is. You got to make it creative. I know that I took some for different things, and some were, and I don't think you designed this one because this was years ago. Some were interesting, and some I was just falling asleep. So it's definitely a challenge. Yeah, definitely a challenge to do that. So hats off to you for that. And then during the night, you're working on your craft, your skill. Something that you really want. Something that's creative. So that takes a lot of time and energy. Definitely that. All right.
Yeah.
So
at the end of the day, when you're trying to wind down and say, okay, well, I got to write now, when I can just get the setting for that now, you got to take off that, e-learning developer hat and put back on the writer hat.
Yeah.
Yes. So and that's definitely a challenge. I know I'm going through that now. I'm supposed to be finishing up this review for Get Out, and I'm almost done. I have like 2 more paragraphs to do. I still have an outline of another story I'm writing now that I'm working on. I have my one that I did for National Writers Month in November, which I'm like, I think it's 50,000, so I think I'm like 45. I'm 45K right now. I'm almost at that goal, but I've lost the I've lost the creativity, so I'm not going to go back to it yet, because I'm interested in this new story I'm writing. So you have all that stuff in your head, and I'm just like, I got to get it all, So you definitely take some time management to do that. All right. So I'm going to start with the questions that I ask all my authors. Okay, growing up, what were your dreams and goals?
For some reason, when I was younger, I wanted to be a teacher or a nurse. And I don't know why, because neither of those occupations fit my personality. But for some reason, I was stuck on that. And I also think it had a lot to do with, you remember those things, those quizzes that they used to give the elementary students about what your career was going to be? And the boys all got firemen, doctor. Mine was always teacher and nurse. I think me and all of my friends, all the girls were teachers and nurses. I think they stopped doing those, didn't they? I remember there was a lot of issues. They were like, these are unconstitutional or something. They were wrong to direct the boys towards those careers. But anyway, I think that's where it came from. So I always wanted to be a teacher and nurse or a nurse. And then all the way through high school, I was still focused on possibly being, going into a teaching career. But my first job out of high school, I was in the rental office of an apartment building. And that's kind of where my story first of the month came from. But they had a computer, and we're talking, 30 years ago. So a very big, bulky computer that nobody knew how to use. And I was the first one to learn how to use it to document the rent receipts. So from there, I kind of launched into a technical career, and that's where everything changed. And I discovered my passion at that point, my other passion. And, I ended up in the technical field from that point on.
Oh, okay. And definitely, I think that we all had some type of career test that, and I think they probably revised it, so the questions were more, unisex. Well, not necessarily the questions, but the answers were more unisex. Like, okay, well, you fit more of this type of career. So, definitely, like you said, it's highly influenceable because of the school. So the school can't be wrong, right?
Really ridiculous because we were like 3rd and 4th grade. So how can you take a test at that age and they're going to direct you toward a career based on what you like to do? You like to play with clay. So what does that mean?
You don't know what you like to do yet.
Yeah,
I think in high school were actually more accurate because by then they had figured out, like Tara said, how to make them more gender neutral and like not ask you questions based on whether, you're male or female, but really ask you, well, do you work well with your hands, or do you like to talk to people, or those kind of things.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. And that's definitely they've come a long way. And you know what? I didn't even know that they started that in elementary school. That's probably wow. Wow.
Yeah, they used to do it a long time.
Right, yeah. And that's definitely not a good thing. And I know you just touched on this, but when did you decide that you wanted to become a writer, or what made you decide to become a writer?
Probably just a natural progression for anyone who loves reading and loves books. I think you try writing. If you're that kind of person that's always reading and you're always into books, you're going to try your hand at writing. Now, whether or not you stick it out and try to turn it into a career, or whether it's just something you do casually, I was always into books. I learned how to read really young. I think I was like 4 when I first started trying to read, and I started writing. My first story I wrote when I was, 3rd grade, so that would have been, 8? Something like that, 7 or 8. Our school district had a scholastics award competition every year, and it was based on creative writing. So I wrote a story, and I entered it in that, and I won a gold medal for that story. It was 3rd grade. So then I was hooked. So every year I had to write something to go in this competition, and we would spend all school year working on this. And it was like in May or June, so towards the end of the school year was when they'd have it, and we have the winners. My goal every year was to win a gold medal. So that really got me into the flow of always writing, too. But I don't think I really considered it as a full-time career, because years ago, books were very big. Your average book was like 300 pages at least, and these were 6 by 9 pages. So I didn't think about doing only that. I thought maybe I'd work on a book for like 20 years and maybe publish it like, John Boy on the Wall, because just constantly working on one book. And there was this huge specific process to submit it to, a traditional publisher. And everyone wasn't getting accepted and, putting out books. So for me, it was always something that I was going to do in addition to another career. That's where my mind was up until it became possible to, self-publish. Right.
Okay. And I have another question for you. This is just a general question. When did self-publishing really, really start? And I'm just curious that poll. How when did it start? Like, can you pinpoint like a year or?
I have no idea. I don't think it's been more than 10 years, though.
Okay.
I think,
if I had to guess.
have to look it up too, but I think sometime in the 2000s.
Okay. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay. Well, that's all right. Yeah. Just because we've had so much. We had a topic. I'm not sure if you heard our topic on self-publishing versus traditional publishing, and how someone wrote I'm sure you saw in the CID room an interesting article about. I guess she had alternative facts about self-publishing. Let's just say. So it's always been on. It's been on my mind to learn a little bit more about it each time, because once I'm finally finished with my stories, I'm gonna see which road to take. So I'm always interested in learning about self-publishing versus traditional publishing. All right. So I'm gonna go. What were some of your obstacles in becoming a writer?
I don't know if there are really any obstacles. My obstacles now are really more about finding time to write the way I want to write. And you have plans to write and focus the entire weekend on writing, and something happens that you can't. I don't think there's really any obstacles to it outside of the time. And like a lot of people, I'm harder on myself. Like, I won't write if I don't think it's really good. You know, I won't just keep churning it out. I'll start writing. I'm not feeling it. I don't like it. I'm going to stop. And then who knows when I'll get back to it. I have some stuff that I've gotten like 75% through. I have one book that I actually completed, and then I read it over, and I hated it. I was like, who wrote this? And I thought it was ready at the time I wrote it. But when I went back to read it, I was embarrassed. I was like looking around like, is someone seeing this? Like, who did this? So I'm harder on myself, and that makes me take longer to complete things, because if I'm not feeling it, I'm not going to, you know, just keep going with it. And I know I have to just go back and just dig into it and push it through, but it's hard to do that. And I think I'm like that about a lot of things. It's not just writing. That may be, you know, that kind of over-obsessive part of my personality. I do that about a lot of things. Like yesterday, for instance, I went to a luncheon with, I go to a monthly luncheon with ladies from my class, my graduating class. And we always do this picture thing at the end of the lunch. My hair was not right. So at the end of the lunch, I said, I'm going to take the picture. I'm not going to be in the picture. I was like, no, I'm not going to be in the picture. I don't like my hair. So just an example of how I can be about things. So I'll write something. If I don't like it, I'm not going to continue with it until I feel like I'm ready to get back on it. So as a result, I have a lot of unfinished pieces. I go back to it. I'm still not feeling it. But then other times I'll go back to some things, and I love it, and I'm ready to, you know, I get a fresh perspective on it, and I'm ready to continue. That's just the way I do it. So that's my obstacle, is overthinking things and being too hard on myself.
Oh, okay. You know, that's definitely a trait for us writers and us aspiring writers. And, you know, I do that myself. I'm like, okay, this doesn't sound right. I have to erase the whole thing, you know. So, you know, definitely that. And speaking of hair, both you and Lori, I noticed you guys, when y'all take pictures, I see, you know, just because, and for us, for people who don't know, all of them are natural, and she, and Kenya, when she takes pictures, I love those curls. You're going to have to tell me how you get it like that, both you and Lori, because I, as you know, I go to, I go to a natural hairstylist, and I have it mine flat ironed and then do some stuff with it. But I haven't really tried to get the natural curls for me personally, because that takes time and energy. And if it doesn't come out right the first time, I'm like, yeah, the time and effort. You know, and I know that's what it's going to take, but it's like, yeah, I can't do this on a regular basis, okay? But, so I'll definitely be, maybe at the end of the show, you guys can give me some tips on how to keep it like that, get that natural curl, you know. So we'll have to do that. Okay. Let's see. Okay. Well, you told us one of your influences for one of your stories, but what other influences you have for some of your stories? Actually, for those of you who are familiar with Kenya, she does write in some of her books where she gets some of her stories from. But what other places do you get your influence from your stories from?
You know, there's so much freaky stuff in the news. If you just watch the news, seriously, there's enough sick and twisted people in real life that you never have to struggle with coming up with ideas. You know, when you think it's too crazy to be believable, just keep going with it until even you get to the point where you're like, okay, that's enough. That's far enough. Being a news junkie, and I will watch the news on TV. I'm reading all the news sites. I get news alerts to my phone. There's so much twisted, sick people in this world. Those are ideas. Like, seriously, it's constant. And you read stuff, and then you have to check and see, okay, is this a real news story or is it satire? Then you find out it's real. So
right.
just look around. You know, people that live next door to you, people that you see every day when you step outside and wave at them, and they got people in the basement. Like, what's that's why I really like writing about real people. You know, it's because that stuff scares me. Real people scare me. I always tell you, I don't get scared by ghosts and, you know, all that type of stuff. I get scared by real people because they are the scariest. The stuff that people have going on, that's absolutely terrifying. So those are the ideas. That's where it comes from.
Yeah. Okay. Speaking of that, have you ladies seen Get Out, correct?
Mm-hmm. I'm on my third now. You haven't seen it?
Yeah, but I know the whole synopsis, so I don't have to worry about spoilers with me.
Okay. Well, it goes right around with what Kenya's saying. You know, definitely that what makes it such a great movie is because it's a thriller, not necessarily blood, guts, and corniness, but it's a thriller. It's a psychological thriller that, you know, that could possibly happen, you know, to what someone says, hey, what's the worst can happen? There it is. So, you definitely, that's definitely and that's what made it so good, because you see all these issues going on, again, and I'll name some, these issues going on where, you know, it's let's assume that all black people are like this, you know, let's assume all black people are like that, let's get them there, let's just, you know what I'm saying? So you get all this stuff, you get all these undertones, which Jordan Peele did a great job. You know what I'm saying? It's not, you know, and I'm not trying to offend anybody, it's not one of those movies where, you know, you got that white savior saving everybody. You know what I'm saying? No, you don't get that. That's another good thing I liked about that. And it had all these issues in it, all these issues that come up. And even some, I know I've missed some, because another author friend, and shout out to Tanisha, she there was the issue of the glass ceiling definitely in that book, in that movie as well. So those make great films, and they also make great books. That's why you know, Stephen King made it a good, you know, did good, because it's like this could possibly happen. You know, so that's what makes, and that's what attracts me to horror, not necessarily the blood and guts, but that psychologicalness, you know. So, and Kenya, you mastered that. I think I said in your review that I'm like, this is a masterpiece. I don't know if I should celebrate or, you know, huddle in the corner. So definitely, you definitely mastered that concept. And Lori, go see Get Out as soon as possible. You would, you know, you will not be disappointed. Definitely not going to be disappointed with that. All right, okay. So what are some of your future goals as a writer, and what other projects are you into?
I just want to finish my two main projects that I've been really dragging my feet on, and it's so embarrassing because, you know, you get those memory posts on Facebook where it brings up your old, was it on this day, and I get these posts where I'm talking about these two specific books that I've been working on, and they're like 2015. What? I've already had the covers. I've been talking about it. I have to get this done. It's 2017. I'm going to get them done. Dead Zone is one of them, my zombie apocalypse story that takes place in the city of Detroit. Again, that's me being too hard on myself and not just, you know, believing in my story and going with it. And then my collection of love-themed horror short stories, or horror-themed love, whichever way you want to look at it. So it's a short story collection, and they're all based on love relationships between different people, but they're horrific at the same time, and that one is sick. I promised myself I wasn't going to start anything else until I completed those two. So that's what I'm working on, and I will get that out before 2018.
Yeah.
And I'm so behind. But, that's what I love about being self-published. It's my own schedule. There's no penalties for not making my own timeline. I'll do it, It's my schedule. I can break it if I want to.
Yeah, that's true. That's a good thing.
Yes, and that's great. And I'm going to add in another question before we move on, because self-publishing, I think I've asked this to other authors. I'm sure I've asked this with Lori. Walk us through the steps of self-publishing again, so our readers can understand how it, how intense or how that process goes.
You mean the publishing itself after you've written your story and you're ready to go with it, after you've gotten it, proofed and edited and beta? Well, you know what? This is the part that a lot of people do have trouble with, the technical part of going into setting up your account on KDP and uploading your files and going through that process. It doesn't seem like it would be that difficult. Some people are not very technically proficient, so they get confused there, because I always wonder, why don't you do it yourself instead of giving it to another publisher to do? There are a lot of steps there, but it guides you through it. You upload your file, you go through all the fields and fill them out, and, there is a chance for you to preview your book before you submit it, and that's just for your ebook. And then you wait for it. Yeah, you can actually preview it, and what I hate the most about it is that when you upload it and you think it's good and you get ready to submit it and you've done it, then you find an error. So now you got to fix that error, and it takes them up to 12 hours, and lately it's been taking them even longer. So, the process of making corrections takes way too long, especially when you do your paperbacks. If you do them through CreateSpace, they're 24 to 48 hours, So there is a few technical steps there, but I think anyone can do it if you take your time and read the screen, and, you can get through it. If you're afraid to try it, and I've had people say to me, I don't know what to do, I'm scared, you can do it. It's very self-driven, so you can do it.
Yeah, if you have any basic computer skills, you can definitely get through that part of it, and it might take you a little while longer the first time. I know one of the things that used to bother me, and still every once in a while does, is sometimes you have problems where it's a formatting issue, and you're trying to figure out what's wrong with the format because it should have been right to be possible.
Yeah.
That can be irritating sometimes, too. But I think people don't realize all the stuff we go through before we get to that point, the writes and the rewrites and the edits and going through the formatters and trying to get the right cover for it. And
that's the real work, getting it ready.
Unsure about what the cover should be.
Okay, well, thank you, lady. Okay. Well, and that's what not just me, but our listeners need to know as well. All that do that. Now, KDP, is that a free program, or is that you pay for it, or how does that work?
That's the Amazon program for uploading your books. I don't remember what it stands for, but that's the Amazon, the back end of uploading your books.
Okay.
Right. And it's free. Yeah, it's free. You can create your account and, just follow the prompts on the screen, and you fill out the fields for your, your name, your author name, and that type of stuff, and your synopsis, and upload your file.
Yeah. Oh, and Katara, were you talking about KDP Unlimited, that you sell your books through them? The actual Unlimited program, or KDP?
No, I
Unlimited, I call it KU. Okay.
Oh, okay. Yeah, Kate, I was just asking, and we will get into Unlimited in a minute, but I was just asking just for that process myself. Okay, cool, definitely cool. Okay, now it's time to get into my Amazon questions, and this is what I ask. This is what I ask every author, because it's so important that we reiterate this point, not just for myself that used to be kind of lazy and not done reviews, but for other people. How is it important to write reviews on Amazon or Goodreads or iBooks, situations like that?
It's still very important. I mean, I'm a person that reads reviews. I read reviews for everything. When I'm about to purchase something, if there's reviews there, I'll go and read them. I'll read a lot of them. I'll read all of them if I can. Some people don't read reviews. But I'm a person that reads them. It's still very important, and I don't think readers realize that the reviews help us get more exposure on Amazon as far as, how it displays your books. It will give you more exposure the more reviews you have. And, I don't think readers understand that. But I know myself, I need to get better with leaving reviews for things, too. Not just books, but everything I purchase. I mean, I'm buying on Amazon like every other day. I'm ordering something. And then I get that email, how would you rate this? And I just click past it, like, I'll get back to you later. I have to get better with leaving reviews on everything, and maybe if I put more reviews out into the universe, I'll get more back in return. But I think it's easy to get into that habit of just reading the book and clicking on to the next one, reading that and clicking on it. You don't stop and go back and leave a review unless you're really focused and committed on, giving those reviews. Some people are into it and they do it all the time. Some other people will only do it if you stop them and ask them, hey, did you like it? I really appreciate it if you, would take the time to review it. It's I don't know. There's not too much more we can do other than putting a little note at the end of our books, like if you liked it, would you please, click here and go here and leave a review. But they are very important. They help us a lot just because of the way Amazon is set up. They put a lot of weight on the reviews, but then they also put rules and things, restrictions on the reviews to make it more difficult for us to get them. Like when they were starting to delete reviews from people that you know. So that hurt a lot of people. I lost a lot of reviews. I know people are losing reviews when they leave their publisher or self-publish, and they leave their reviews back with the publisher, even though you republish the same book. So there's a lot going on. It's a very difficult system to really win. It's an easy system to cheat, which makes it even harder for people to win. So I get tired of asking. I just mention it every now and then and leave it alone and just, it is what it is.
Right, definitely. Yeah, it is. Yeah, it is. It has to, you have to come into that habit. I know that when, at the end of like my Kindle app or my Kindle Fire, it gives you that option. And what helps me, surprisingly, is I'm in another book group, and we have this year-long contest where we partner up with somebody. We're assigned a partner, and whoever, at the end of the year, whoever reads the most books reads the most books and posts those reviews, who has the most reviews, wins something. So that's what helps me. I swear that definitely helps me write reviews because, I know it's going to be going to the contest. But it's definitely something to get into the habit. And it is. Amazon is picky, so it frustrates the reader. I remember I wrote a review. I was part of this program, and I had to write a review. I read it in ARC, and then I had to write a review for it. And I'm like, okay, where is it? Like 3 days later, I still don't know what it is. I emailed the group that I was doing and just saying, listen, I typed it. It's taken forever, and they said they understand because Amazon's going through a new change or whatever. But that's what's frustrating. It's frustrating when you're waiting. It takes 2 weeks later to post that. So, there has to be a common middle ground. And I think I've gotten over that, where I just, for some reason, Amazon doesn't bother me anymore. You know what I'm saying? They'll be like, all right, your review has posted. So I don't know how I got over that. Maybe it's because I wrote a whole bunch. So now they're just like, all right, she's legit, So
right.
Definitely. Yeah, it's definitely a frustrating process. But, just you got to be patient with that. Okay, so, and we brought this up before. Tell me the pros and cons of Kindle Unlimited.
Kindle Unlimited used to be a really decent program when it first came out. It was really simple. You just sign up, or the reader signs up. They get to read unlimited books for $10 a month. I was in it as a reader. The authors got paid, I guess, when you read. I don't remember what it started out with, but a small percentage. It was very fair. But I guess like everything else, people figured out how to game the system. So Amazon figured they had to come up with something else. Now, the new one has so many qualifications that it's not really beneficial for authors anymore. It's probably still a good deal for the readers, because they get to just read unlimited books. But a lot of authors have taken their books out of the program. I took all of mine out for a couple of years, I think. A long time I took them out. I just recently put some shorts back on there just to try it. But I think it really only works if people read the entire book from beginning to end. And because ebooks is so easy to get them, people hoard them, and you get them and don't really read them. Or, everybody's always saying my TBR list is so long. So when you're getting them, if you don't read them, the authors aren't getting paid. It's not really a good deal for authors anymore, unless you have a really high volume of people, borrowing your book and reading it. But because so many authors pull it out, I think the balance is it's not really working much anymore. I don't know too many authors that are in that program and enjoying it. Besides my own experience, I don't know too many that really talk about it in that sense they used to talk about it when they used to really like it. I think it's good for shorts. That was my idea, to put my shorts in there, and at the end of my shorts I have some promo material for my other books that are not in the program. So I thought, okay, it can work for that. And it's kind of nice to be able to see that Pages Red meter at the bottom of your dashboard, and when you're logged in and you can see what people are reading. That's kind of nice to see those spikes. But it can also make you a little obsessive. You're like, oh, they're reading. No, nobody's reading. What's going on? So, I don't know. It can be a pro and a con. But overall, I don't think it's what it was intended to be, and I don't think it's as good as it used to be. So I'm probably going to leave my shorts in there for, I think the minimum is 90 days, and then I'm going to pull them out. Because I don't like that when your books are in it, you can't have your books on any other platform. That's the biggest drawback to me. I don't like that at all. So I don't know. I could see them getting rid of the program altogether in the future because, I don't know, it just doesn't really seem to be what it used to be.
Okay.
So that's my opinion.
All right. Okay, I have one more question for you before Lori has some questions for you and we jump into your books. What was I going to say? Oh, okay. Any advice? And very good assessment of Kindle Unlimited. Very, people, it's starting to, fall. Not fall, but it's starting to lose its magic. So definitely very good assessment on that. Okay. Any advice for aspiring writers such as myself?
You're doing one of the most important things already, and that's surrounding yourself with writers that you admire. You are already so active. You read and support, and you can't help but grow from that. Anyone that wants to write, you surround yourself with other people that write the way you want to write, people whose writing you enjoy. You're going to grow from that. You can't really know what you want to write or how you want to write it if you've never read anything that inspired you. So
Right.
to keep reading and asking questions and putting yourself out there so you know how to shape your own stories. That's the best thing you can do.
Oh, okay. Okay, well, thank you. I'll definitely keep doing that. Yeah, I definitely learned a lot just from reading and then watching y'all in the group, contributing y'all in the group, you know, trying my hand at certain stuff. Shout out to author Navi Robbins that I went into his contest, and I'm trying to just wait and see who won, whereas you have to write a title and synopsis for a certain cover that he's going to discount, and I did. You know what I'm saying? And shout out to everybody who voted on that. I think the voting closing is done. He hasn't. I know he's busy. He hasn't. I think the voting is done. If not, everyone go ahead and go vote. It's on the CID board. But so that was fun. That was fun doing that. And so it's definitely
good.
It's definitely a journey. Oh, thank you.
Yeah, you're jumping into all those contests and things. That's the perfect thing to do because then you're getting feedback from different audiences. You know, every time you enter those little contests where you're submitting some short /fiction or something, I see you jumping into those. That gives you an opportunity to get all this different feedback from people. And that's a very good thing to do.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, thank you. Thank you very much. All right. I'm going to turn the show over to Lori for a little bit because I know Lori's been dying to ask you some questions. Lori, still there with me?
All right. Well, the first thing I wanted to ask you is for you to tell us about the latest book that you have out and what it's about.
The latest was A Good Wife Post-Coital, which is not horror. That was book 3 of the A Good Wife series. And when did I put that out? January? February? It was for readers who have followed that story. It was kind of wrapping up the people involved in that, which is more like an urban type of, I want to say love story, but not really love. So book 3 was wrapping that up. A lot of people were still wanting to know what happened with these people. It started out with a man and his wife who decided to bring a third party into their bedroom. Now, the most interesting thing about this story, I'll tell you how this story started out. The most interesting thing, and a lot of people may not know this, even though I always try to tell this story, that was actually someone's true story. I used to be on another internet forum, and there was a woman who came on the boards, and she said she had just gotten out of the hospital because she attempted suicide. And she started telling the story about how it all started with her best friend coming into her marriage. Her and her husband invited her in to have a threesome, and then the husband and the best friend continued a relationship without her. And she was pregnant, too. So it went on for, and it went on for I don't know how long. And this was some years ago. But it led to her becoming very depressed, and they would just, do stuff right in front of her, just completely disregarding her. And one of the scenes at the end of the first book was where her and the friend were downstairs in the house, and the husband was upstairs by himself, and he basically calls her to send her friend upstairs. So that was all a true story. That was someone's story. And I was so fascinated by it. I was like, this can't be real. But it was, and she attempted suicide. So she came to the boards and was telling everyone about it. That's where the first book came from. And then from there, when I wrote book 2, which was Tracy's story, Tracy was the best friend. I wanted to show more about who Tracy was. And of course, at that point, it's all my character that I've made up.
Right.
And I wanted to show where Tracy came from, why she was the way she is, why she was so devious, and so forth. So then book 3 was the one I just released and finished that entire thing. So it wrapped up all of the characters. And now I'm done with that. So that was A Good Wife Post quail.
Wow. Now, see, I have to go back and read the other two stories then, because I'm starting at the end.
Yeah, it was pretty wild. But, yeah, I think when you read it with that in mind, that it is really someone's story, which, of course, I've kind of, dramatized it a little bit more. But the attempted suicide and all that stuff, all of that is someone's story. It actually happened to someone.
Wow, that's a crazy relationship that woman had. Good grief.
Yeah.
It's funny, and that's not horror, but in a way, it is almost horrific.
It really is. When you think that someone lived like that and didn't actually commit any murders.
Right. Luckily, nobody got killed, but wow, that's a frightening thought that you would have somebody come into your life and end up, start off a friend and then it ends up that way. Okay. So can you give us a little bit hint about what you're working on? I know you say you don't necessarily like some of your drafts that you have going, but if you feel comfortable in this case.
Yeah, I'm still really excited about Dead Zone. I just need to get it done because my idea behind Dead Zone was that Detroit, there's this kind of feeling that people in the poor areas feel like no one cares about them. And like there's a gentrification going on, and they think that certain factors are trying to take away their land and build it up and exclude them from the growth. And you kind of see that, I'm not going to say any names, but you kind of see that, and they're building up around these areas and kind of pushing back against, the people in the poor areas. So my idea behind Dead Zone was that a wall goes up, and all of this development is happening outside of the wall, but eventually they want the land that's inside the wall, too. They ran out of space over here, so now they're looking over there, they want that land. So they come up with an idea to eliminate those people so that they can have that land. So that's where the idea came from, and, of course, I turned it into something where they're trying to get rid of the people, but they won't die. Their plan is not working. But, of course, they're inside of the wall, and no one really cares what's going on over there. They don't care about them. They just want them gone. So I am still really excited about it. I needed to step back from it and come back at it. And, I'm doing that now. I want to get it out soon. But I think it's going to be a real exciting story. It's got a message there, too, to make you really think and look around you at what's happening. So besides being, a zombie story, there's some messages in there.
I think that's very timely, though, because that's something that's happening in a lot of cities. I hadn't heard so much about it happening in Detroit, but I have heard about it happening in Chicago and in parts of Los Angeles, too, where, there were poorer communities, but now people are coming back and developing them and pricing out the people that were either middle class to lower middle class that were living, in those areas. Now your people can't afford it. So, yeah, that's a very timely thing. And just the whole thing of walls in general right now, you got to get on that.
Yeah. I do. It's so close to completion, but I needed to step back and kind of figure out how I was going to direct it. I needed more. And, you know how we do. So I added some more in there. And this is one thing we mentioned, Get Out. What I loved about Get Out, and I mentioned this in my status, is that it's so layered. And I think there's a lesson in there. When we write, we go from beginning to end. Go back to the beginning and see where you can drop some jewels. That type of layering is so amazing. And so many people don't do that. It's like, okay, I'm done. Let's push this out. But if you go back to the beginning, Jordan Peele worked on this film for years. He did not just do it last year and publish it, and produce it and put it out there. He worked on it for years. you know he went back to the beginning and went through and added those layers. Those layers don't just come, as you're writing. You got to go back and build them in, and you start seeing where you can add things. And that's what I'm trying to do here. When I keep looking at it and I'm sketching things out, I have my outlines. At one point, I even had this big poster board on the wall in my office, and I'm drawing on it, trying to do a layout and seeing where I needed stuff. If it looks flat, like there's nothing happening here, I need to punch this up in here. So, yeah, it's really important that I do it right because of what it's about.
Yeah, I agree with that. I really do. I know it's something we do go through as writers, that whole thing of trying to really make the stories come to life. And I don't know what you think, and you can tell me your opinion on it too. I think that sometimes that can be what's missing when people write a book in 1 month and then it's out there. It's not that they can't write an entertaining story in that time or that it wouldn't be something that people would enjoy, but I think that if you write it that quickly, you do miss the layering aspect of it. What do you think?
There's, again, it's like the difference between Get Out and what's another horror movie that we've seen? Even Don't Breathe. As good as Don't Breathe was, and Don't Breathe was excellent, it didn't have the same type. I mean, look, you didn't see people talking about Don't Breathe like they're talking about Get Out. We're analyzing Get Out from beginning to end because it was so good and it was so much in there and so many messages. But Don't Breathe was still an excellent movie. When I saw Don't Breathe, I said, this is the best horror movie I've seen in years. So that does make a difference when you take that extra time. You can put something out in a month, but if you take that time and walk away from it, for me, I have to walk away from things and then come back later. Even if you think it's finished, if you take that extra time and go look at it again, you're going to see other stuff you can do to it. And you're going to make it better. You can walk away too long. There's that. But if you just take that time, and when I published The Good Wife this last time, and I worked on it for like a year, after I published it, I thought of other stuff I could have done. I was so mad at myself. I was like, why didn't I just wait a little bit longer? When I thought I was ready, I should have just waited like 30 more days and then read it again because I wanted to add something else, and now I can't. So it makes a difference between, something that people are going to read and say, oh, that's good, and just move on to the next book, or something that people are going to continue to talk about and continue to think about, and maybe even read again so they can see what they missed. Like I've seen Get Out 3 times. When it comes out on DVD, I'm buying it so I can watch it again because I want to keep seeing what did I miss in there. So it makes a difference in what you want to put out.
Yeah, it does. I listen to a lot of people talk about the writing industry and marketing, and there's this sort of idea out there now that if you want to build up your audience, you need to publish every quarter, like 3 times a year. You have to have something out. And I don't know that really works for everybody. I mean, I think some people are fine with doing that, but I don't think you're going to make work that's really lasting if it's quick. It'll be fun. It'll be good. I guess, like, if you wanted to do, like, the food comparison, it would be like having an awesome cheeseburger as compared to, like, the filet mignon.
Yeah.
And both good. Sometimes you just want a cheeseburger. Sometimes you don't want extra, But sometimes filet mignon, or at least a good porterhouse steak or something.
Right. You only find that in this industry. You don't see, James Patterson putting out a book a month or Stephen King putting out a book a month. Not because they don't need the money. They don't need the money, but because they know it takes longer to do the type of work that they want to put out. And I'm going to take James Patterson out of that example because he doesn't write all of his work anymore. But Stephen King, he knows that when he puts out his work, he wants it to be a certain quality. So he's not going to throw out a book a month. But people
Right.
do whatever they want to do, and they have the audience to support it, and that's fine. But like you said, there's cheeseburgers and there's filet mignon. Which one do you want to put out? It's up to you. Sometimes you might want to just throw a cheeseburger out there. But
Yeah.
you can't put out that level of quality when you're, doing it that fast.
Yeah. I kind of think, I don't know, but I kind of think it's destructive, too, when they tell new writers that, because, it takes a long time to even develop that kind of speed, even if you do want to write that quickly, because you have to learn the tricks of the trade itself, and then you have to, you seem like you're very aware of what your style is as far as how you set up your story. I don't think that most people, when they start out, know that, because you have to grow into it. It's like you have to learn what works best for you and what works best to tell certain kinds of stories, because, you might use an outline for one thing and maybe you use a more detailed one next time, or maybe one not at all for a different story. So now, like you were saying, you like to do storyboards. Is that something you do all the time, or was it just that particular story?
I don't really have a need to do it when I'm doing short stories, but when I'm working on something long, like a full book, and the story is more detailed, and I find that I need it to, to keep up with where I'm going, because I don't want to end up just trailing off and not focusing on the characters the way I want to focus on. I always try to make sure that I use the characters appropriately throughout the book. I need some type of guide. Everyone may not need that. I need it. I need a list when I go to the grocery store. So I need a guide when I'm writing a continuous novel, so I know where I'm going and what I'm going to do when I get there.
Now, do you ever find that sometimes... Oh, go on.
Okay, no, and Lori, I'm going to interrupt you real quick because I know, because I want you to bring more questions. That's a great point. Outline. I did a little one for the one I did for November, and now I'm paying for that because I'm almost near the end of the book, and I don't know how to end it. I mean, I know how to end it, but it's having too many questions, and I definitely need that list for grocery stores and other stuff because. I forget when I get there and I get distracted. And even when I have a list, sometimes I forget. Definitely that. And great. I'm gonna. I know you guys went over your Good Wife, and you said that was influenced based loosely on something that really did happen. And wow. Wow, that was something. That story was something, and it showed. What I liked about that story was it showed the consequences for everybody, especially the husband, and all the other things he did. It showed all those late consequences going on there. So definitely that. Definitely that 3-book series was definitely something that take, again, you're going deep on what happens when affairs happen, go deep on how secrets are just held to and how damaging secrets is. Definitely that. I want to discuss, and then I'm going to have Lori ask some more questions. I want to discuss your mixtape. I think I read when I was going on to my latest Virginia trip, and I'm I know people probably are staring at the book I read. I don't care. I was reading, It's funny because when I was reading Lori's book on one of my first trips up to Virginia, because that's where the head of the network is, I read her, which one was it you sent me? It was the one where it was like way back in it's what's her name, deep relative, way back in
the one in the Old West.
Yes, that one.
Lazarus.
What was that? What was
Lazarus.
Okay. Oh, Lazarus. Yes, I was reading that, and the one of the when I was getting in line to go to walk onto the plane, one of the flight attendants was like, rushing past us, and he looked at him like, Lazarus, that sounds interesting. I said, yes, it is interesting. So I always get a lot of looks when I read my books, but I don't care. They're fun, So, but yeah, Mixtape was okay. Wow. Once again, I was like, okay, well, we got some craziness. We got some, what is it? I think one of the stories in Mixtape is when you play pranks, and I'm not going to give it away, Kenya, but when you play pranks and it goes a little far, that one was like, okay then, He waited until certain people were grown up and did it that way. Wow, that was definitely interesting, that one was. Now, what was your, for that one, what was your influence for that?
I started writing that for, I was going to enter it in something for Halloween, and my original concept was just Ding Dong Ditch. I thought, how fun would it be to just have some kids playing Ding Dong Ditch and everything goes, haywire. And that was the original title, too. And I think I missed the deadline. I miss deadlines all the time. I missed the deadline to submit it. So I continued with it, and it grew into Cornflower Farm. And that was another one. I wrote it, even though it was a short story. When I finished it, I went back and added the cornflower aspect that, I think made it a little more interesting instead of just, what happened. And that became the title. It was just something that I was just trying to try for that. I don't even know where I was going to submit that at. I might have said where it was. A lot of times I start short stories specifically to submit somewhere, and then if I miss the deadline, then I just say, okay, here's another one for my collection, and I, can change it into whatever I want to change it into. So yeah, that one was a lot of fun.
Oh, okay. And another one that stood out, a lot of them stood out. The one that stood out most was, I think, the last one when either he found some power or not found a power, but he was able to, let's just say, destroy. He was an outcast except for the one person that believed in him, or he thought he was, and he thought he got away with stuff until the end. That one was, wow. I was not expecting that ending at all. I was
Roar.
You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, Roar. With Rory?
Yes. Wow.
Yeah, I wanted to write a story about someone killing people with a car. That was the original thing. It just came in my head. I just thought, I want to write a story about someone killing people with their car, where they get off on that. So it started out with him killing the squirrel with his motorcycle by accident. He felt the bones crack under the wheel, under his tire. And so he advanced from that to the car. He wanted to feel the people under his car. It was just, I was just having one of those weird thoughts, and I thought, okay, let's see where this goes. And that's where Roar came from, with Rory and him being kind of an outcast. But this is what he was doing, kind of at night when no one was around. He was killing people with his car. Yeah, there was nothing else. I wanted to have him just like leave and continue to do that, but then you kind of had to have an ending. He had to face consequences. I don't know. It was kind of sad. He had a sad life, but that's where it came from. I just thought, someone that enjoys feeling life being snuffed out under his wheels.
Right. Oh, okay. Wow. Okay. Well, yeah. Mixtape was definitely wow. It did help with my time. It helps with my time. I think I read it. Yeah, going. So it definitely helps kill the time that way. So definitely wow to that. Lori, I know you had some more. You had another question for Kenya.
Yeah, I wanted to ask about this because it's always my fangirling thing with other authors. I want to find out, do you ever have characters that just seem like they just like take over the story? Maybe a character that you didn't expect them to be a big part of the story, like they were just, part of the cast, or maybe someone that is a main part of the story, but they started acting in a way you didn't expect them to.
Wow. I don't know about acting in a way I didn't expect them to. I guess if I think about maybe Baby Mind, where she was stuck with the pregnancy and didn't know where it came from or what to do with it, that one kind of stuck with me for a long time. Jessica's character and her decisions that she made, a lot of that happened in the story, I didn't really plan it in the beginning. I just was imagining, she's going to be dealing with this and maybe there'll be a lesson there for her and she'll get rid of it and keep it going. But a lot of the decisions that she made and how it ended, I think I felt the most for her, and that's why it ended up being so long, too, because I kept going with it. Jessica became bigger than I, thought she would when I started writing the story. Baby Mind was the longest one in Daymares. And I actually ended up branching that off and making it its own short because by itself it was almost 80 pages. Yeah, I would say her, and probably because of what she was feeling is something that a lot of women can relate to. Someone that you hate that much, but then you kind of like them too at the same time. Or, you hate them, but you kind of love them too, but then you hate them too. So, yeah, she became something that I could not let go of, so I kept going with it, and I wanted to have her come out the victor in the end. I don't know if she found a way to manage it. I don't know if she really won, but she found a way to manage it, which is kind of the lesson. That's what you really do. You never really stop. You never really get over it. You find a way to manage it and live with it. And that's what she did at the end of the story. She found a way to just live with it, even though it's kind of unconventional. But you manage your feelings. That's what you do every day of your life. You're managing your feelings. You don't always have solutions. Sometimes it's just all about managing.
Right. Yeah, that was crazy. I was actually going to mention. I was actually going to mention Daymares next, and well, you just went and watched through it. That one was wow. I was not expecting that ending. That ending was like, wait, whoa! I didn't expect it to go that way, but that was good, definitely good. Another one that you did, and I think I talked to you about this already, was the one. What was it? No, see, I'm getting yours. No, this was Lori's book. Never mind. Lori's story and Syntax. Right, I read those at the same time, kind of at the same time. But there was another one that you did in Daymares. Okay, that one, the Rent one that you were talking about. That one I didn't expect either. Wow, that tells you. Yeah.
Like I said, my first job was with the apartment complex, and my manager there, she was really mean and nasty. I don't think she's around anymore, like physically around anymore, but the apartment building was a senior living complex. She was really mean to people. She would have a nasty attitude. She would go storming out of the office and go stomping down the hallway and just like confront people in the hallway and yell at them. Seriously, and I was like 18. I'm terrified. Like, who is this woman? Why is she talking to people like that? So that's where I started writing from, thinking of someone who was really nasty. And, that's where it went. But that was her. That was dedicated to her. She was very nasty to people. She acted like it was her money. If they didn't pay on time, she would get really upset, like it was her money that they had to give her. I don't know if she was getting a bonus from it or what, but that's where that came from.
Yeah.
Dedicated to Carolyn, wherever you are.
Wow. Yeah, that's the ultimate, where my money at, so definitely, wow. Yeah, for Dana, that one.
People too. Even where she comes in with ones like Rihanna talking about, you better have my money.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, that was her.
That's definitely, I thought of that. That Daymare's was one, and I think it was 4. I read some. I read a few at night at my work, but I couldn't finish it because it just had me thinking in a way. So I'm like, all right, I'm going to have to read one story at a time, rest, and read it again, because it got kind of like, wow. Again, I didn't know if I needed to huddle in a corner or what. That was just wow, So wow, that was definitely going to be, one to, if you read it, and I recommend reading it, but read it when you're able just to stop and think. You can't read it when you're like, at work or you're doing something because you're like, what's the meaning of life? No, is this what life is about? So,
yeah, who can I trust? Why are you standing so close to me? What do you really want?
Right. Exactly.
Yep, don't read it alone.
Exactly. So that one's there. I didn't get a chance to. I read the. How Amazon will give you an excerpt to read for Pray for Me. I didn't get a chance to read that. Again, I was at work, so I could not. Once I read the excerpt, I'm like, yeah, I can't get this book right now. I'm at work, and then I'm going to have me side-eyeing everybody. Definitely, wow. What was your influence for Pray for Me? Because that was just like, ooh, in the basement.
Yeah, again, people in real life. Women have a tendency to trust pastors, and sometimes those are the worst people that you can trust. And that's where that came from. Everyone was crazy about him because he was, good looking and he was the pastor and they trusted him, but he was very, he had his own issues. And there was actually a news story about a minister who was dating women so he could have access to their kids. I think this was in, I want to say North Carolina, years ago. And they figured that out. He really was not after the women, he was after their kids. But sometimes you don't pay attention to that because you think, oh, he's good looking and, I can trust him. He's a minister. So
right.
That's where that came from.
Right. Oh. Wow. Well, that's one I'm going to have to read carefully. Is that a series too, or is that just one story? I wasn't sure. Was that
that is just one book?
That one?
No,
okay.
There's just one.
Okay.
When I first published that, I was with a publisher, and you can't see me doing the air fingers. I was with a publisher, and so they wanted it into 2 books because that's what they do. But when I left, I put it into 1 book, and that's what that is. It's 1 book, the way it should be.
Oh,
so you'll see on Amazon the old ones because Amazon won't let you take them down. I don't know why. They stay up there. But just the one that says the complete story, that's the whole book.
Okay. Oh, okay. Wow. Okay. Wow. All right. So, and before I move on, Lori, do you have? Wait, I think we covered all your books that I read. Yeah, I think we did. Oh no, there was one that I read for you that was like, I think it was an ARC, and I didn't know whatever happened to that. The one with the, and I think that's the one you were talking about with the zombies, and the one with the power to heal the zombies. Is that was one that you wrote as a
you may be thinking about Patchwork, correct? Where she had the power to heal with the putting the patch of clothing, the patch on the back of his coat. Is that the one you're thinking of? That's a mixtape.
Like, oh, okay, not that. Oh, I know that one. That one was a good one. I like that one. But you know what? I may be getting you an ARC. It was one you wrote for a short. It was. Oh no, you know what? See, you see how much stuff I read right now. I think I feel you wrote that. Okay. So okay. Patchwork was good too. That I totally forgot about that. Patchwork was very influencing. You know, that was good. I like that one. That one's cute. But okay, I think we did all those books. Yeah, I think I covered all the books, and for everyone, readers and Kenya fans, I will be posting all the books we covered on right after the show on my webpage, so you Facebook page, so you guys can get them too. Okay, let's see. Let's talk about your website. I was on it a little bit, and what made you want to make a website? Actually, it's very interesting.
Well, you need one. You know, I think everyone, you really need to control your information, because you can't rely on Facebook for everything. You know, you got to have a website so you can control everything that you put up there. You don't have to worry about Facebook taking it down just because they didn't like what you said or somebody reporting it. I'm trying to get more into offering my books and things from my website and not having to rely so much on Amazon either, because everything else that you use, they're controlling that. I think every author needs their own website. Mm-hmm.
Right.
And so I can, you know, I try to remember to update it. There's so much to update now. Update Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. But your website, you know, will always be there as long as you pay the bill every month. But it will always be there. And I was really lucky to get my name the exact way that I wanted it. Every author should have one. It's really like the only space you can control. You know, you can control everything that you put on it. You can have all your books there. You can sell your books from your website. You can even sell your e-books from the website.
Right.
Mhm. Okay. All right. Well, good. Yeah, I like that website. That was nice. And you had, I think you had products on there too, correct?
I had what?
You had other products such as like stuff with your name on it, or T-shirts or something. Was that on your website?
You know what? I have not actually put those on there to sell yet. That's something else I've been working on, but I haven't put them up there to sell. I've been, like, testing them, and I put them up on Facebook every now and then I go off and do other stuff, and, you know, because I got a short attention span. Like, I'll get back to it. But, yeah, that's something that I'll get back to.
Oh, okay. Well, good. Okay. All right, so we're going to go, before we switch gears, Lori, do you have any more questions for Kenya before we just get some advice for young women?
The only other thing that I wanted to ask too is if there's a particular type of story that you haven't tried yet that you would like to try in the future.
A type or a topic?
Well, either a genre that you haven't tried before or a topic you haven't tried before.
A topic I want to work on is something surrounding a cult. I'm really fascinated with cults and cult behavior. I've been reading about that a lot and watching some online, and I'm really, really interested in building a story around that. But a genre, I'm thinking about young adults, because like patchwork, I wrote patchwork when I was 21, so that story is very old. I pulled it out, dusted it off, but I have a lot of other stories that I've written from years ago that would fit, you know, the YA genre, and I would like to fix those up and get those out there, and they would really work. But again, time. I have them in typewritten pages, so it's going to take some work, because every time I think about sitting here and typing them into the computer, That just kind of that's a deal breaker for me. Yeah.
Yeah.
But
or maybe
if I can get around to it. Yeah. That may be what it comes down to. But then typing it into the computer is a good way to rewrite it also. But,
that's true.
You know,
it's a good way to edit it. Like, oh, I don't like this.
But the thing about that is, if I'm reading it now in my, more adult voice, and I'm reading what I wrote when I was in my 20s, of course I'm going to want to rewrite it. I got to be careful not to take away, the original voice that it was in, because that's what makes it, YA. Otherwise, I'm going to switch it around and rewrite it, and it's no longer going to fit in that category. So those are some things on my list.
Good.
Very interesting. Okay, good. All right. So now, we still got a lot of time, which is good. Now we're going to turn this into more of a, since this is Women a Month, National Women's Month, let's get some advice to our younger generation, or for those who want to start an entrepreneurship. Not necessarily in writing, although the advice can be in writing as well. Let's all give some tips to our just to people who want to do an entrepreneurship, such as writing or anything else, particularly women, because what we see right now is a rise in Black American and Latino entrepreneurships, and we want to keep that going. We definitely want to keep that going. There's definitely places that I love to shop that are from Black women or another small business, and we want to keep that going to let because we can't depend on big businesses for everything, especially if they're not for our interests. So, Kenya, what are some advice you can give people? And then I'm going to go to Lori after you.
I feel like women, especially young women, are really under attack right now. And it's really the scariest thing I've ever seen in my life. And women are almost, it's like from social media attacks to the violence we see to our current administration. I don't know where this came from, but people are really putting a lot of energy into shutting down women and young women in particular. So entrepreneurism protects you, I think, because it's something of your own. It's something that you work on. It's to protect you. It's to build your future, and no one can take that from you. Everyone needs something like that because we can no longer rely on the old institutions. You can no longer come out of school like, I'm going to get a job at this company and I'm going to stay there for 25 years and retire like my parents did. You can't rely on that anymore. So everyone needs something. I don't care if you're selling lipstick, writing books, selling clothing. I mean, I know people who have really made a good living selling their own clothing, or they go to the yard sales and the thrift shops and they get stuff and they sell it on eBay. You need something. It's no longer enough to just rely on the old traditional path of, taking care of your future. We don't even know if Social Security is going to be around in the future. So that's why entrepreneurship is so important for everyone in some form. You don't have to go out and start a manufacturing company, but you need something that you can rely on, something that's going to grow. It's just something you can be proud of. I've always taught that to my kids. You got to have something, and they make jokes. Every time they come to me talking to me about something, I'm like, yeah, you can make money off of that. They're like, there she goes again. Yes, because you have to always be thinking like that. You have to be thinking like that in some form, even if it's small, if it's just a side hobby. You got to have something because of the way, we're heading. So that would be my advice. Just get something that's yours, turn your passion into a way that's going to provide security for you.
Okay, good. And that's definitely, something that only young women, anybody can, but definitely do something with your passion, and you never know. You keep at it somewhat, you can make something off of that, be it slow or fast. Find your passion, because that's the only thing that's going to, keep up, especially how this world, you don't know. You definitely don't know. All right. Yeah. And Lori, your advice.
I think that my advice is actually somewhat similar to Kenya's. My own experience was that I never really considered working as an author as a real job. So in a way, I kind of sidelined that for a long time until things became pushed to shove, and it actually became my real major source of income. So rather than, having to go through that, like Kenya was saying, always have something brewing on the back burner that you can bring to the front if, the need should arise for that. And, there's so many different kinds of things that people can do. Try to find mentors in whatever area that is. If you like to sell things, try to find people that have been successful at it with their own home business. If you want to write, people that are successful in it, or who are a little further on the journey than you already are, so you can learn from them. I think it's important not to, as women especially, to sell ourselves short, because whenever you try to build your own company or your own brand, there's always going to be those people that are going to try to tear you down or laugh at you or make you feel something you shouldn't do. So already go in with the mindset that you are going to face people, that are going to try to tell you or discourage you, from doing what you want to do. And, sometimes those may be some of the people closest to you that are discouraging you. So just always know that you're not going to get 100% support, but you will find those people that do support what you do. So, just kind of soldier through it.
Right. I agree. Right. Oh, yeah. Yeah, definitely. And that's great. That's great advice, especially around in this time where you don't know what the future is, especially with entertainer as our commander-in-chief, and getting rid of stuff you're just like, what is going on? So, you definitely want to fall back on something, definitely like you said, because you don't know what's going to happen in the future, regardless if we have an acceptable commander-in-chief or not. You don't know. So it's always good to plan. And I do see a lot more of coming together, especially in the Black community, for entrepreneurship, a lot more support. And I like that. I like that because now it shows, we can go there to do stuff instead of going somewhere else. Today I was just looking at this small clothesline business, but I saw it wasn't minority owned. And I'm like, well, you know what? Although it was a good concept, what they were doing, I really didn't have that much interest in it. I'd rather do something, give my money to somewhere that, you know what I'm saying, that probably has more of my interest than what they're doing. So, it's definitely a game changer, and it's definitely something that we all, have to start looking into. And I tell people this all the time. You don't have to stop everything. You know what I'm saying? Just start looking into more of minority-owned businesses, or start looking more into smaller businesses. Start looking and doing some research, and then start from there. You know what I'm saying? I definitely, 3 years or 4 years ago, I started saying, okay, I'm going to get all my Christmas gifts from small businesses or Black-owned businesses. Now, that took time because I found that if I started in September, you know what I'm saying, then I can get that done because then it gives me more time to look for stuff. And then I was able to win, you know, thanks to the CID parties and other parties, I was able to win like Amazon gift cards for those who are harder to buy gifts for that you can't get from my already owned businesses. So then you can go and spend free money that you're not spending on Amazon. There you go.
Right.
So it definitely takes some time to do that, and you know that's that. You know, and so Kenya, anything else? Since this is, would you like to let your fans know anything else interesting that we didn't cover, or maybe we only covered a little that your fans would like to know, or you think the fans would like to know?
I think we covered everything. I can't think of anything. Just watch my Facebook page, and I'll put it on there if I think of anything, or my author page. I can't think of anything else right now. I probably will as soon as we hang up, right? I'm going to say, I wish I had said that, but, you know, that's the way it works.
Right. Oh, okay. Let me see. There was two things I just had. One, what is your, and I'll be posting it on my Facebook page after the show, what is your official...
The address is KenyaMoss-Dyme.com. It's my name. KenyaMoss-Dyme.com.
Okay. And since and there's one thing I forgot we covered. We forgot to cover. You are one of the 4 horsewomen of the Color of Darkness group. Wow, and it's been a great group. Wow, you know, I've met both of you guys from that. I think the first party you had, I met Maya. I met Maya from another Facebook party, whatever, and then we were friends. And then she said she's putting together something. So how did y'all come up with that idea? Come up with the party and the theme and everything? I mean,
that's all Maya.
Group.
The group, yes, that's all Maya. She came up with the idea, and she was like, "Do you think it'll work?" We thought, you know, yeah, it'll work. We'll get some people in there. We'll get a few. Let's shoot for maybe 30, 40 people to join. The whole thing around Colors and Darkness is multicultural writers and multicultural work also, stories that involve multicultural characters. And it grew. I remember when we made it to 100 members. We were so excited. It's grown. It's a great group. We support each other. We talk about things you need help with the storyline you're working on. There's other people in there that will jump in there and help you. It's a great way to talk to readers, connect with each other. It's just a really great group.
Okay, and it definitely is. Yeah, and I remember a year before she started Colors in Darkness, she said she expressed the concern that there's not enough notification or recognizing of multicultural paranormal and horror authors. I remember her, you know, expressing her concern. So the next year she was able to turn that concern around, and I was like, wow, I was impressed. I definitely was impressed in that. And that goes back to a lot. I know a lot of people have turned that idea. They said, okay, there's a need for that, and let's do it. And I love those types because now you're definitely getting more, and you're definitely putting your name out there. And that's all name of the game. You know, you never know until you try. And that's another lesson that all of us can learn. You never know until you try. So that's great too.
And the Halloween party, the yearly Halloween party, is such a great time to meet all these authors that you never even knew about, and to talk to the ones you didn't know about. You know, so I find new ones every year at the party. Authors who write, you know, horror, paranormal, science fiction, all of this stuff. And, you know, authors of color who write this, and we didn't even know about it. And the Halloween party, everyone comes out, and it's just such a wonderful time. And then you got to mention our first antho, Forever Vacancy.
Oh,
yes,
that's right.
13 stories, yes. And it's doing really well, and we got some great stories in there. And it's all surrounding the hotel, the mystique behind the hotel, which is really cool to write towards a theme. That was my first time doing that, where you're given, this is the theme, this is the location, so everyone writes their stories of what happens inside the hotel. So that was great. And check that out, Forever Vacancy.
Yes, definitely check that out. That was a great book. It motivated me. The next time you guys do that, I'm going to add my story to it. I remember you guys planning it, and I'm like, I'm not ready yet. But now I think I'm ready. I definitely think I'm ready because I saw how all that was connected. And I'm wrong. You guys, it was, how long did you have to write that?
Oh, goodness. Some months. I can't remember. Maybe 3 months.
3 months, okay.
Maybe.
So
I can't remember.
Yeah.
Right. So and actually, let's go over that for now. Like, let's go over that because I'm really interested on. Okay, so you write your story, you give it to, I believe, or you hand it in to Maya. Was there any? I'm asking, was there any revisions to make it more connecting, or everyone was able just to connect regardless?
Well, because the submission page kind of laid out the theme, and it also gave a very good description of who Sabine was, the innkeeper, and then everyone wrote to that. There were a few revisions, it went back a few times to ask people to maybe, look at their story again and revise it. Of course, there was an editing stage, and they had to revise after that. But those were after it had already gone through the judging process.
Okay.
And, we kind of had it broken up into tiers, we go through this tier and that tier and so forth. And then the final bunch, there were some revisions made, definitely, to kind of tighten it up to get it to where it should be. But, yeah, everyone was pretty free to write the story that they saw, using Sabine and, the inn, the Crutcher's Motel.
Mm-hmm. Right. Oh, okay. Okay, good. Well, definitely that's something that I hope you guys are going to do that again, because I would love to get involved in that one, Yeah,
definitely we will. With a different setting, though.
Oh, okay. So, okay,
awesome.
Okay, good. All right, so if there's nothing else, Lori, you have any other topics you want to bring up, or?
No, I'm good for right now.
Okay, good. I think we're going to kind of end it a little early. We've covered a lot, and we've talked with Kenya. We've picked her brain, which I love. Can catch all of us in the Color and Darkness Facebook group. Definitely catch all of us there, posting, giving our opinions, welcoming new people. Posting ideas, posting submissions. You definitely catch all of us in there on a regular basis. So everyone, who's interested in Color Darkness, go ahead and join. Definitely go ahead and join. Yeah. We thank Kenya for stopping by at Katara's Cafe. It's always a pleasure talking with you, Kenya. You've been a great mentor, and you've great ideas. I love, and just like I was confusing a lot of people, I love when people send me ARCs, especially paranormal and horror, because I love reading it, giving my reactions and stuff, so it's great. It's definitely great. Both Lori and Kenya and Dahilia, that I mixed everybody up, had some great ARCs. Those readers, check that out. If it's an author asks you to read an ARC or something, don't be afraid to accept. they want to know your opinion, and they want to know what maybe they can change differently or maybe not. So it's never a bad thing. It's always a good thing, and definitely a good thing for that. Definitely that. Okay. Here on the True Radio Network, we have lots of different subjects. Of course, I do authors. I also cover community civil rights events. As you know, women issues as well. So you have that. We have 2 sports shows on the True Radio Network. We have a political show that you'll see me call in sometimes. We also have some new special shows coming up. We have a special golf and cigar show. We have comedy. We have anime, entertainment. So we have all this going on the True Radio Network. If you want to check that out, go to TruRadio.com or BLBlackGOP.com, BLKGOP.com to check that out as well, to see all the different shows. In next 2 weeks, I have Raven St. Pierre. She's another famous author. She writes primarily love, romance, a lot of black women versus multicultural. So she has black women, white male. She also has black women, Asian male books out, and they are great. She's one of them that I found on Amazon when I was looking for more paranormal authors by black women. I don't know what Amazon was doing when they did that to me, but hey, it all worked out for the good better. So check her out and check out that show in 2 weeks. All right, if that's it, ladies, I thank you for joining me. Have a great weekend.
Thank you for having me.
Take care, y'all.
Good night. Take care.
All right, bye.
If your vehicle isn't stopping like it used to, stop by one of your 82 Detroit area O'Reilly Auto Parts stores and take advantage of the Do It Right rebate. You'll get a $20 O'Reilly gift card by mail when you buy a set of Brake Best Select pads and a pair of rotors. O'Reilly Auto Parts. Better parts, better prices every day. Limits apply. See store for details.
O'Reilly.